So since I've mown here now, I kind of want to show what it takes to have swales integrated into your paddock shift system and what the pros and cons are of having swales in a field that you plan on doing paddock shift. Now, obviously the pros of having swales are the erosion stopping and the hydrology effects, meaning that they catch the rainwater and hold it up in your system for a lot longer, you know. And you can, I don't know if you can tell, but that down there is actually some standing water still in the swale, you know, and it hasn't rained in 4 days or so. So you can see that there's standing water still in the swale, still seeping in, still watering the pasture below it, and holding water up in the landscape above it. So it works both ways. It stops the water, so the water coming through the ground from this way is slowed down, and it drains, so there's actually, it's kind of like seeping in to the pasture below it. So, and you have this nice mound that ends up being uncompacted so long as you fence it properly. And eventually, and it's planted in there, but it's so thick right now you can't see it. There's a variety of different trees in there, which I plan to add to this fall. So eventually this will be a tree line. You'll see a pasture and the swale ditch and the swale mound with trees on it, you know, and then the pasture below it. Now, so that's kind of like the pros of it. And it's a really, it gives you all kinds of, it gives you the edge effect kind of scattered throughout your field, so everywhere that you break it, you're going to end up with an edge effect on both sides, so it'll be very fertile on both sides, and you get to pick what trees you want, because obviously we're not in forest here. So I put, you know, mimosas and black locust, and this year I have 1,000 apple trees that I'm going to put on all my swale mounds. And I would have done it this year, but the seed wasn't available. So next year I'm going to really start with chestnuts, putting chestnuts everywhere. So the mass drop and the fruit drop and everything will really help out to supplement the pasture, especially for pigs. So those are the pros of it. The cons are, you got to put in a line of fence on both sides of it. So I have a post with a fence line on the downhill side of the swale, and then it's closed off here, and then I have a post and the fence line on the uphill side of the swale. So you really kind of got to put in, I wouldn't say double, but a third again as much fencing, you know, because your swales, if you let your animals climb on it, they'll degrade the earthwork to the point where it doesn't work anymore. They'll walk on and dig up and ruin the spillways. They'll trample on the supposed to be non-compacted swale mound, which will kind of defeat the purpose of the swale mound being somewhere where you don't typically walk on, which is great for tree growing and stays uncompacted. They'll eat all your trees, you know, so you have to kind of fence them out. So I guess that would be the biggest con, is fencing on both sides. Now the con to that con is kind of depending on where you are. I'm in pretty steep rolling country here, so as you can see, my swales are very curvaceous. They turn a lot. So that means your fence has to turn a lot, which adds, you know, a bit of complexity to your fence, you know, meaning, you know, every time your fence turns, you got to watch which way the post is leaning. So it's leaning into the pressure. So it's holding the fence line kind of as straight as you can possibly get it. And then that, you know, it adds difficulty in the way that you got to keep your fence line clear. So I did scythe this whole fence line. It took me 2 days, and it was extremely physically hard, and I don't think I'll ever do it again, at least not all at once. You know, if I could break it up into something that took 2 weeks, it might be okay. But I think I'm gonna have to invest in a weed whacker which I really would rather use the manual tools, but on this scale, I just can't. I can't do it. It's just not. It's not the best use of my time and my body, because I was pretty knackered after that. So, and I'm also looking into natural sprays, as far as vinegar and salt and dish soap, and I might do some experimenting on that to see if it holds it down, because you don't need to actually go nuclear and wipe everything out under it, and my fence is staying really hot anyway, but it would be nice to kind of stunt everything so I don't have to do so much maintenance on it. So that's what you have to do if you want to integrate swales into your pasture system. And it's really nice how it delineates the paddock. I mean, you can kind of see, here's the swale with the fence on this side, and then you can see there is the swale with the fence on that side, and it creates this nice long rectangle. And all I have to do to subdivide is run a fence, a little temporary fence from that side to that side, and I can give them 3 feet, or I could give them the whole thing, you know. So it really makes, once it's put together and operating, it really makes your life a lot easier, you know. So I think it's worth the initial investment of the extra fencing and the extra complexity and the extra maintenance on the fence, to end up with something that on a daily basis you're really only running, you know, and I got mine are like 150 to 200 feet away. You're really only running 150 feet to 200 feet of temporary fencing, which a person by themselves can put up in 15 minutes. You know, it's really easy. So that's what you got with the with integrating swales into your pastures and using them for rotational grazing. So enjoy.